So when you were a chubby kid in Virginia and you could shoot the lights out, whose game did you model it after?
Oh man, easily. JJ Redick from Duke, baby.
Ah,
I'm a diehard Duke basketball fan. JJ was my idol
nice.
back then.
It's the Green Release NBA 2K podcast.
All right. Hello and welcome to episode 14 of the Green Release NBA 2K podcast. Just before we get into it, some quick housekeeping. Please rate and review this podcast on iTunes. It just helps me. And please tell your friends about the podcast. Tell your Pro-Am friends. Tell people you play with. Please get the word out. And enough of that. Let's get right into it. Today I've got Mitchell Franklin, a.k.a. Mooty, a.k.a. Big Shot. Of course, Team Throwdown center. Don't call him a power forward. High IQ player. Picks his spots carefully. And can certainly knock down a three ball.
30 to the line to ice the game, making the first but missing the second. With only 4 seconds left, Mooty inbounds to Deb, gets open in the corner, and hits the buzzer beater 3 to force overtime.
Easily the best moment of my life.
How are you, Moot? What's up?
Right now.
Yes, sir. What's going on, my man? Feeling pretty good. Just got back from the gym. I'm glad we finally got a chance to meet up. I know we've been trying to to get on schedule for a couple weeks now. The times didn't really work out, the holiday and stuff.
Yeah.
I've been sick, but nah, man. Finally glad that we can get caught up. Finally sit down and chat.
Yeah, it's good. We've been circling each other for a while, but unfortunately I'm down here in Sydney and the time zones just it doesn't work sometimes. But thank you for being here now. Like, where are you at now? Are you back home or are you back at college?
Oh, I'm back home now, man. It's funny because I'm starting to see on people's like Snap stories and stuff how they're back at Radford, my college, and starting to get back there and getting settled in. And I'm just sitting back here at home, where normally I'd probably be heading back there soon. But no, I'm taking the semester off, and probably I guess seeing now I'm not going back. Gonna finish and get my degree online with the league. Kind of all or nothing, you know. Put a lot of time into this and a lot of dedication, made a lot of sacrifices. Really think I'm built for the league, and all or nothing, man. Been grinding. So
Hear that. Not for nothing, but so I'm a little bit older, but like college, man, it'll always be there. It'll always be. You can always go back. Like you've come a long way now, so you've only got a little bit to finish off. You can always go back, man. So it's interesting that you've taken time off to pursue this 2K League stuff.
Oh, exactly. Absolutely. I mean, especially because this is like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I mean, this is just life-changing, and I'm almost done with college. I mean, I can honestly just finish that. Say I make it to the league, I can finish that in the off-season online and get that diploma. I'm going to get my diploma. I mean, that piece of paper, that means a lot. So It's going to come. I'm going to get it, but you can't give this up when you put in so much time and there's so much potential in a career that I just said potential, but you can feed into the potential of this. Has so much potential, and there's just more and more hype being pushed behind it. And it's just every single day just seems like just growing, man. So, yeah, like I said, from day one, I mean, since honestly, it's been on my mind since February, since we lost in February, honestly, back being in New Orleans, it's been on my mind since then, the league. So this has been a long time coming.
Yeah. Do you want to keep going on that? Like, what will it mean to you being drafted? Obviously, NBA 2K, and the opportunity to have a career in esports and not have a real job is very appealing. But what does it mean to you if you were drafted?
Oh man, it'll mean the absolute world to me. It'll just mean a lot being able to just take care of my family, especially get my mom and my pops basically everything they wanted. Like, because I mean, the salary, it's not as much, but the opportunities I'll have with the league being provided, the content I'll be able to provide and so on and so forth. And it would be nice being able to have a career in something that's your passion, and
Yeah.
being able to wake up every day and say, yo, I love my job. Be able to wake up like with a smile on your face and go to work like happy. I can't even really put into words the excitement I would have for it, and really just how emotional I would be on draft day, to hear my name called. It sounds kind of corny in a way, but I'm thinking about it right now. Like, I think about it every single day, every single night, it multiple times, man. It's like there's so much like thoughts that go through my head about like just visualization. Come February and then into March, man, I put so much time, work, effort, like behind the scenes, in game, film, really since last February, and especially since I lost. So this is really just, like I said earlier, just a long time coming. It would honestly just mean the world to me, to be real.
Yeah, that's great. No, this doesn't sound like it'd be lost on you, but going off to a job and doing a job that you hate is completely soul destroying, and it will eat you up inside. So, I mean, if you have the opportunity to do something you enjoy, especially in esports, go for it. That's super cool. I've spoke to Kid Lit and I've spoke to Jonah. What's your 2K story, Moot? When did you start playing, and how did it all get competitive, and just maybe bring it round to Throwdown days?
Well, it all started back. I used to play, so I've never really been the most athletic kid, and so really senior year of high school, and that just kind of came with my work ethic, because I'm sure some of you read in that first little I don't know, like, what would you, blog post I did for school. I used to get so it happens to everyone, even the coolest dudes you think or look up to sometimes. I used to get bullied a lot back in like middle school, and it was actually, I wouldn't say a lot, but it was actually by my own like best friends. Just pick at me and do little stuff, and I was just like this little short fat kid. And I would honestly, I found a safe place when I would come home and play Call of Duty, like competitive Call of Duty matches on game battles. So at a young age back then, I found a place in games where I could find like a new alias, like kind of a new identity. I was considered good at something, and I have friends that respect me for who I was, like my skill at something. And it was really like comforting, and it was cool. Like, and then it kind of just grew because I've always been a huge sports fanatic, especially like a huge basketball head. Like, even while being like short, fat, really unathletic, I've always been able to shoot the ball really well. Up until now, my jumper's not as good as anymore because of 2K. I haven't been able to been in the gym. But like, for example, my middle school basketball team were district champions. I was on that team both years because I was a little short white kid that could shoot the ball. So I would never play, but they would put me in the game sometimes. Like when there's no minutes, I would get in and out. I would be able to get up a couple shots, but I could shoot. And really, I really got into the scene. Like, that's why I keep telling these kids, and it really, really, really aggravates me. And it takes a lot to like actually aggravate me. I have a really strong patience. When I keep seeing these kids and dudes and anyone, females, anyone, constantly putting on Twitter and tweeting and stuff saying that, oh, the comp circle, they have their own circle, all these top teams won't let us in or anything, like, I can't wait. That's why I agree with White Chocolates that February is a blessing, because it really is. I think getting 50 wins is really phony because it's so easy, and it's letting way too many people have an opportunity to have a shot at what people have been working for, like, honestly, for years now. And it's giving so many people the opportunity that they don't deserve, honestly, compared to people, like a fair opportunity. I'm all for like being equal, fair opportunity, but this isn't the way. Like, it's too easy. It's like handing someone a cupcake and just letting them eat it. Like, honestly, And I got sidetracked. But anyways, sorry. Like I said, man, I'm an emotional dude. I'm real passionate about this. That's why I really want to make this my career. Like,
Yeah, I can hear it.
I really don't. I truly, and that's why I tweet about it. I keep quiet. I keep way more quiet than I keep in, and I should sometimes. But I put more time into this pro-am scene and in the game period than anyone else. Like, it's not even comparable, and it's just because I have the amount of time, I created the amount of time, and I've just built it up. And I just think it's not fair for the people that have put that much time in for all these people to get an opportunity by just getting 50 wins and filling out an application and then just free reign in February. When you have people that have been grinding for this for just years on years on years, honestly. And all right, now that I remember what I was talking about earlier, that's what irks me. That's what irks me about the kids that say we have this own bubble and circle, and I get on rants and preach to them when I go live on Periscope or something, when I do rarely, that if you're good enough or you're so-called like trapped outside of this top comp bubble, which is just not real. Like people like the AI guy, for example, no one heard of this guy until this year, to be honest, the pro MC. This guy made it by playing in tournaments and making a name for himself. He played in one MPBA tournament, and now he's considered one of the best dribblers in the game. If you consider yourself so good and good enough to be a top player, man, enter these tournaments. There's so much opportunity. DM teams, DM people, get yourself out there, get your name out there. It's really not hard. Don't sit there and complain and cry on Twitter and think nothing's going to change, because it's not fair to the top players and people that have been around doing this for years to sit there and complain at us for getting our foots in the door and putting in the work and the time and effort for just you to be allowed in when there's so much opportunity. Literally, there's been so many people that have made their name this year by playing in these tournaments and showing out and performing and doing well. And that's how you got to do it. That's how I made it back in 2K12 or whatever. I was a nobody. I came from NBA Live. I wanted to make it in 2K12, which leads to all this buildup of how I made it. I came from NBA Live. I've been real passionate about video games ever since playing COD competitively back in those middle school days, because I found a home. I found a safe haven. No one would put me on their team that was good. And I'm a huge competitor. I like to win. I sat there on the GameBattles.com, top leaderboards, top 25. I DM'd in private message every single leader and co-leader on that top 25 team list. Sent them a huge, like, it wasn't that huge, I guess, little paragraph bio to, like, asking them for a trial. Give me a shot. Like, give me a shot. Give me one game. If I don't perform well, that's cool. I'm moving on. I get it. And I got a couple opportunities, and they didn't work out. It was one or two. I stumbled upon, it was, I believe, the fourth place team. It was called Dunkin' on Your Head. It was none other than B-Wood, who's around the community right now, and then Let's Ball Up. Rudy, who was our former teammate who doesn't play anymore. He retired. They gave me that shot. I performed well at center, and that was pretty much all she wrote. That's where my scene really started back in 2K12. Just started playing really competitively, playing every night when I could, and that's where I really made a name for myself up until it took me 2 years to really win something big time, and that was 2K14. That's when me, Let's Ball Up, B-Wood, and Daddy Jonah, the coach of the Mavericks right now, Mavericks Gaming, we won the Game Battles winter season playoff bracket $2,000 ladder, which was the biggest purse, I'm pretty sure still to date, of the Game Battles 2K history. Wow. And after that like just the feeling of that, the adrenaline rush, I was like, man, this is it for me. This is big time, man. I kind of knew right then. And then we started, when the Pro-Am scene came on, us four took it on, and we kind of were scrambling around with the fifth, just constant fill-ins, and that's really where we struggled. We couldn't qualify. And we picked up Dev for one of the qualification rounds, the weekends for 2K16. And we didn't qualify, it didn't work out. So Dev saw how we played, and Let's Ball Up was a point guard at the time. So that's when the last weekend, Dev and Chris recruited Let's Ball Up and Be Hard, and we were like, it's kind of a perfect fit. They were missing a center and a point guard, really, and we were missing like a strong fifth, and we're like, it makes sense. We went over to them literally the last Sunday possible to qualify for that first ever 250K tournament for 2K16. Went there, qualified, got number 1 seed, and that's where TD was really birthed.
Well,
there's a lot to take in.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there.
I could honestly, I'm telling you, man, there's a lot built in here. There's a lot. That's why I hold in a lot, man. I can see why some people I hold back on Twitter, and I can see why a lot of people are upset and strong, show such strong emotions, because there's a lot of us pioneers and top players that have put in so much effort, time, have grinded. And then just have these new players coming out of nowhere and just think they deserve these shots and think they should have a golden ticket handed to them, and just really don't deserve it. Because honestly, it sounds cliche, but the top players of 2K are always going to be the top players of 2K. And that's just how it works. There's a basketball IQ, which is nice to have in 2K. You don't necessarily need it. It's a nice attribute to have. And then there's such thing as a 2K IQ. And the top players have that. And it's a necessity. And if you don't have it, you don't have it. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of things I wanted to hit on, but just that last thing you said. So 2K IQ. Something, just this one little tiny thing that Dimes does. So Dimes gets around his primary defender all the time, blows past. And then the corner man comes to help. He's so good at knowing when that corner man's going to come and when he's just going to bait the pass. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think just little things like that. That's so high Q. And
that's the vet in him. I mean, me and Dimes, a lot of people don't know. Me and Dimes won a championship, and I guess it wasn't MPBA back in the day. It was a league just like it. It was 2K Gods. We won a money season championship together. I was Dwight Howard in a team up, and he was James Harden. He was my so-called point guard on James Harden. I was Dwight Howard. We won a championship.
Wow. There you go.
Yep. We were
back
a duo
when Dwight
back
could
then.
play.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, something else you hit on too. If you aren't in these mock drafts, and if you're on the outside looking in, at this point, you've only really got yourself to blame. You've had every opportunity to play MPBA and play well and win. And
yes,
here we are.
No, yeah, I can agree with that for sure. And I see a lot of people saying the whole buddy system, which I can honestly agree with that as well, because it is with that too. I'll throw out for instance, and this is not be a bias. I'm literally one of the least biased people you'll meet, especially when it comes to Pro-Am, because of how much I watch and put time into it. You sit here and have a conversation with me all day. I'll give it to you straight up. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything, including if it has to stay with me, my teammates, anything. And they know that, and I'll tell that straight to their faces. For example, with the whole buddy system, Throwdown, if it involves Throwdown, we in the Pro-Am community, the players, you either like us or you don't. That's how it always will be. It's how it always is, and it's just going to be like that. For example, with that draft, you have Dev, someone who went, what do you go, pick 16th? That's just not realistic.
No.
I'm sorry. It's not, and that's how it's going to be. You have someone like me who went 3rd round. I'm sorry. I don't see myself going there. I don't see myself going 1st round or anything, but I don't see myself falling to late 3rd round or whatever. That's what I tell my teammates, man. I'm not looking into these lists or drafts anymore. They mean nothing to me, dude. I used to use them as fuel, and that's how I am. I'm big into motivation, but they're just pointless. What's the point of them? Honestly, it's all just going back to like who's on the hype train right now. Like, for example, I got respect for the King Havoc guy. He's real consistent, but him at third pick over like Fab, Styles, like, come on, man. Like that. I could go on for days about it, but you understand what I'm getting at.
To be honest, I didn't even read the latest mock draft. No offense to anyone that was involved in it. It's just not for me. Like, let's just see what February brings, and we'll go from there. We all know who the top guys are. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, they're great to look in. They're great to look at. I mean, it's cool. I mean, they're eye catching. But for the players that are sitting there complaining, say it's a buddy system and stuff, and that don't make them, man, don't look too far into them. I don't need to elaborate anymore. Just don't look too far into them.
Last year's 250K tournament, Kid Lit walked us through it, but I want to get your take on it. Can you start at the start? And not so much the qualifying, but the actual New Orleans part itself, and tell me how that went for you and how hard did you just party down there?
So you want me to talk about
New Orleans,
like the experience?
Yeah.
Well, it didn't really feel real until like literally walking into the hotel lobby and seeing like our liaison with Dev there, and I was like, "Whoa, like this is real." Honestly, we didn't really party there until after.
Yeah,
and it was my birthday the night before, which was the worst part. The night before the big game. So, what really killed us, if you want me to be honest, and everyone will tell you this, is we over-prepared. We watched way too much film. We overthought the entire game plan, which we normally don't do that. I normally am the big film watcher. I come out with a game plan, and like no one else really watches the film in depth. I normally just come out with the scouting report, and everyone listens, and we go with that. But we sat in the room the day of, the night of, every single day and every single night, and just watch film on them. And we never do that as a team. It's normally just me. And then I give a game plan, or like someone will sit there and watch it here and there. And that's what really killed us, honestly. We overthought it. But honestly, New Orleans, that's definitely the most unique place I've been. And even though we lost, that's what I keep telling people. Even though we lost, we really won. If you look at it in the end, still Trill, yeah, they won the money and all that. Still, Dimes won more than Still Trill did. We grew more than Still Trill did. And we're still winning, honestly. Even though, like, we didn't win any tournaments this 2K, we went on to win the last two tournaments of MPBA and WR. And, like, we just continue to just be on the uprise of, like, success. Growing our brand. Instead, like, we could have just sulked and, like, cried or disbanded or...
Yeah, disbanded would have been half the team would have done.
We could have laid down, but instead we really just grew as a family. Like, we've met up with each other like 4 times now. We're like brothers. We're a family now, and we've seen more success than we would have ever believed. Been to places we would have never believed. Done so many things just from literally a video game, and now potential of us getting drafted. The 4 of us that were there, so. Really, the experience of New Orleans, the story is still continuing from it. And it's honestly just getting started just from being there, just from that week. So it's honestly an ongoing story.
So when are you moving into the gaming house down in Orlando there? the DevGos House of Horrors.
Oh, man. I could not live with Dev. I feel for Chuck. Man.
Yeah,
that's my guy. I got to give it to Mama Goss, man. Whew. I don't know how she does it. That's a powerful woman right there.
Yeah.
She deserves it. If Dev gets drafted, she deserves to be getting more than half of that man's check right there.
She get it all. She has to Mama Goss.
Same with, yeah. Whew. Good Lord. I could not live with Dev. One thing about Dev, which is crazy, I'm thinking, that kid, when he goes to sleep, he's the hardest sleeper I've ever seen in my life. Like, you literally have to, like,
What does that mean?
smack him in the face. Like, he doesn't wake up to anything.
Oh, right.
Like, he literally, like, hibernates. So, like, if he ever, like, needs to be up for a deadline or something or game day, I'm not kidding. You literally have to, like, smack him in the mouth or something. He won't wake up to alarms, fire drills. He wouldn't wake up to, like, a tornado. It's the craziest thing you'll ever see. I'm being honest.
Well,
He'll go into hibernation.
Does he doesn't have a condition, like, does he? There's
No, I mean,
there's
no.
something wrong with it.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Next time, if you ever talk to Chuck or anyone on Throwdown, ask them. It's one of the craziest things I've ever seen, because literally he'll fall asleep for 30 minutes too, and he'll be rejuvenated for like the rest of the day or night. He only needs 30, and it's just like, I tell him, it's because, dude, you literally just hibernated. That's all you need. That's all you need to sleep. He won't wake up for anything. Like, because anywhere we go, anywhere we go, if we need to wake up, like, to go somewhere, like if we have a meeting or something, and we got to wake the kid up, it's always waiting on him. We got to take 3 people to wake the kid up. We have to, like, flip out of bed or something, and then it takes him another, like, 30 minutes for him to actually be consciously awake.
Wow, that's crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah,
He's gonna.
I feel bad for whatever team gets him. He's gonna need, like, a personal caretaker that has to wake him up.
They're gonna have to bring on an intern that just goes around to the gaming house every day.
They really are, honestly. I'm not kidding. Whoever's listening to this, you need to just take this podcast and wherever Dev Goss gets taken, you need an intern that, like, is a personal, like, human alarm. I wish I was joking.
Yeah. So I noticed Throwdown, there's a few different positions and a few different builds and stuff. What's the thinking behind that? You were moving around. You went small forward, power forward, center.
Yeah, I'm just, you know me. I'm being that star role player. I've made 16 builds this 2K, all 85 and above. I've had to delete like 4 of them. It's bad. Wow. And now on Xbox, I have another build because we're over here now. I can't even want to think about the amount of money I've had to spend or the amount of, like, VC, like, being in the stage or anything. But yeah, man. I mean, thinking back, like, I was really, like, triggered about it. I was mad, but it really helps, like, and shows my versatility at, like, playing the 3 through 5, and at times I was at the 2 on that 610. So it really helped, like, mold my game and branch it out. So at first, in the beginning of the game, I was on that 610 pure sharp at the 3 and sometimes playing the 2. Then I went to the 4, and now I'm at the 5, where I've been kind of playing this entire 2K for the most part, which I feel most comfortable at. I mean, I've been a center the majority of my entire, like, 2K career, and it's just I feel most comfortable there because the center spot for Throwdown will always not get enough credit because they don't get touches on offense, and they're not involved in the pick and roll. And I'm okay with that because I don't care about stats. I don't care about individual stat lines. That's never been me. I'm a team player. I'm all about the W. So I know my responsibilities, play defense, get rebounds, hit my shots when needed. And I'm okay with taking criticism if my stat line, I have 3 points against someone 24 who's just a paint pounder, which I had to deal with the majority early year. And I'm okay with that. So, but also, I think my paint defense is better than the majority. And I don't feel comfortable if we have someone else in the paint that I think my paint defense is better than theirs, and I have to sit there and watch it, especially how difficult paint defense is this year. So, and also, if you're in the corner and the centers, how much, like, that's one thing. I don't think many centers have good defense this year. And if they do, it's being hidden because people go 5 out and they have to sit in the corner. So a lot of centers are being bailed out with that. And when we go 5-out, the center needs to be able to hit the shots. And really, the one position when helping in the 5-out is the center. So they'll show or come all the way down. So our center needs to be able to hit the shot, and I feel most comfortable with me being in the corner and having to hit the shot on like a secondary sharp. So I feel most comfortable with it being me. So that's why I like being at the 5 now. So
have you matched up with many post scorers? Any legit post scorers? I mean,
the only one really I matched up with was Poppy Germ. And that was in that game most recently in that WR tournament when he was playing with Mo and Hood and then Red Stick. And I was on that rebounding sharp, and I held him in check. Actually, I out-rebounded him, and I made him miss like 5 shots, I'm pretty sure. He didn't give me any problems. And that's because that's just preparation. I watched film on him before. I knew his tendencies. He's either going to try to post spin me to the right, or he's going to do that same post jump shot he does to the middle of the floor. So I already beat him to the step before he could get there.
Yeah, I was just interested because it seems like it's very underutilized. Probably not for any good reason. I feel like if you could be a good post scorer, you're going to throw a whole different look. Not so much, maybe not against Throwdown, but against a lesser team that can't guard that center position. You could eat down there.
It is, and I think it's really good this year too, and especially it could be good in the league because last year I hated them, and I didn't think they were good at all because playing in the half-court set wasn't good because of how fast tempo-paced last year's game was and how, playing in the half-court wasn't good. But this year, the majority of the game, you don't get a defensive stop as playing in the half-court in a 5-out set, so why not have a post score and go 4-out, 1 in, or go 5-out and then slide the post scorer who's in the corner and let him just be ISO'd right there. If you need a go-ahead bucket, it's the same as paint pounding with a pure athletic. So I think it could be really highly effective if you have someone that's skilled at it. And also if you just if you're patient, let them execute.
Yeah. The 2K League setup is going to be super interesting how the gameplay breaks down because if you were to run some sets for a post scorer, maybe it's some mismatches. You've got guys that can spend 10 hours a day practicing post moves and different offensive sets. I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
Oh, no, absolutely. I agree. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Go for it.
I'm sure you've already put some lists out. I've seen some lists. Twitter loves lists. Maybe name some under the radar centers you matched up with, some underrated centers who people should know about. They probably don't.
I'll go ahead and give you one right off the bat that you'll like because he's an international player. JLB Trey from Rise Above.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's pretty solid. The only game I did match up with him, what people don't get, though, we were delayed, too, when we played him. No one ever mentioned it. You know how it goes. Throwdown loses, we get screenshotted. We just don't say anything. We just go on with it. Yeah. So he had a really good stat line against us, but it was our first game back from playing in 3 days, and also we were delayed. Even though they said they were delayed too, which I believe the delay is real. But we were incredibly delayed. We just thought it was slow at first because it was our first game back. But I'll give that. Like I said, I gave him a straight up review of his play and stuff because Rico DM'd me, asked me straight up what I thought. That. Yeah. He's excellent pick and pop, excellent shooter, one of the better big shooters I've played. Period. And he has an incredible amount of potential to be one of the better centers, honestly. Another center that I'm big on centers that can shoot because it shows a lot of versatility. And I feel like Drizzard doesn't get enough respect.
Yeah. I knew you were going to say Driz, yeah.
I'm a big fan of Drizzard. I mean, his defense definitely, his IQ, it definitely lacks. But like I said, that is kind of a given, because there's a lot of centers this year that their defense isn't there. And a lot of the times, like, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, I guess, because defense is hard this year as a center. Like, it's not easy, especially compared to last year. And a lot of the times you don't get that much practice because you just get hidden in the corner because people go 5 out and the paint's is wide open. So the majority of the time you're sitting in the corner on a center and you're trying to just sit there and move back and forth to bait. So, but I'm a big fan of his game. So,
yeah, so I should probably ask him, but it seems like it's probably not fair to ask you, but he bounces around a few different teams. I'm not sure.
Driz, no. What happened is he and or Make It Happen and him, I guess they had a little falling out. I thought he got kicked, but apparently what I've been reading the past couple of days is it was like mutual, and that was his home. And then he made a team with Strainer Breaking Point, and now he's back with Make It Happen.
Okay.
So, which now you can see they're more successful now because he was a key point of that team.
Yeah, that series with Throwdown at the end of 17, that was unreal.
Oh, dude, that was easily, that might be the most intense series I've been a part of, man. That was nuts. I'm pretty sure that was a series that went into like 4 a.m. And then I had to drive home. I had to drive up to college at like 7 a.m. or something like that. That was insane. I was dead.
All worth it.
Oh, absolutely. Don't regret a thing. Never when it comes to 2K and winning. Yeah.
Moot, what are your current thoughts on, I guess, the 2K18 meta, to use a word that's been flogged to death? The meta, 5-out offenses, dribble move spam, blow by innovations, snatchbacks, all this wonderful stuff. Throwdown don't run a lot of it, the 5-out, I mean. General thoughts, anything you want to add? You a fan?
I keep getting asked this question now. I mean, to really summarize it, I really hope it gets cleaned up come the actual version of the league. Because certain things such as the snatchbacks and the ankle breakers are just like, they're overpowered. I mean, they're okay. I get it. Some of them are basketball moves, like some of the time, but just constantly being able to do it. Like, for example, I'll put Dimes on the spot.
Yep.
When he spams ankle breakers, it's just obnoxious because someone of that skill, he just doesn't need to do that.
Yeah.
And if you take that out of the game, a lot of the guys aren't going to be good at this game. If you take out spamming ankle breakers or snatchbacks. And then you have someone like Dimes who you can't like hate on him for it. He's just abusing a flaw of the game. That's OP. Like, all power to him. Why not? But if you take those things away, a lot of these so-called top players or players that consider themselves good are not going to be good at the game, are going to fall off. Whereas someone as Dimes, who has that 2K IQ, as I mentioned earlier, is going to find a way to be good at the game still. And it's just going to be naturally good at the game, honestly. He doesn't need to spam ankle breakers or snatchbacks to be good or score. So that's why I feel like I hope they've been following closely and just really limit and take out or do something. Just get rid of the spamming of the ankle breakers, the snatchbacks, the blow-bys. Like, because just you shouldn't be able to sit there and blow by or snatch back or make a lockdown with like locking their build. Be able to just blow by and do all that and make them fall down. It's unrealistic.
Which one do you hate the worst? Which one's the most detrimental to the game of those cheesy animations?
It honestly depends the type of like situation, like, because I feel like snatchbacks are easier to guard now. You just honestly spam steal or you just play better defense.
Yeah,
I would say the worst is honestly when you have like a 6'10" pure just blowing by, or if you have someone a dribble head like Dimes being able to just like spam ankle breakers. Those are the two worst, easily, in my opinion. And then holding
Yeah.
B in the paint for sure, which a lot of people are starting to. Yeah, that's why I didn't even want to mention it because that one might easily be the worst, especially as a center.
That's it.
It's just dumb.
That's the worst.
It's obnoxious. Like that easily might be the worst.
I play a little bit. I don't play a lot, but I come across it the other day. Player, but I just couldn't stop it because I'm not amazing. But anyway, I got graded out of the game. Got absolutely killed and got graded out. Anyway, I'm terrible. Don't draft me. But
it's tough.
Oh man, it was terrible. I did not have a good time.
It's so cheesy. Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, hopefully come the 2K. I'm sure that the 2K League have so much invested that they will make the on-screen product. I just hope it doesn't end up 5-out dribble move spam stuff. I hope there's offensive sets, secondary plays.
They have to, man. There's way too much money and too much at stake. They got to. I'm optimistic about it.
Yeah, same. We'll leave it there, Moot. It was an absolute pleasure talking to you. I'd love to have you on again sometime in the future. Just tell everyone where do people find you, and you don't stream, do you? It's Dev Goss who does the streaming. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm gonna start streaming though. Eventually, hopefully. One thing I am gonna do for sure is I'm gonna start a YouTube channel. I'm gonna get it out eventually, hopefully by the end of the week. Because I'm, like I said earlier, like I was talking to you before we got on, I'm gonna look at cameras and stuff to start vlogging. My Cleveland trip and the Dallas trip. So to be determined on the YouTube, but Twitter is at Mooty2K with 2 Y's, MOOTYY 2K. It's where you can really find me. PlayStation, Xbox, you can add me. It's MOOTYY. Then PSN is an underscore after that. That's really it. That's where you can find me.
Cool.
DM me if you ever need advice, anything. I always preach it. I'm not one of those like Hollywood dudes or anything. I always take the time to reply to anyone. Doesn't matter who you are, who you know, whatever. I always reply to you. Yeah,
actually on that point, I just started on Twitter. I had like 1 follower and I DM'd you and you got straight back to me. And I think you even followed me. God bless you. Thank you for that.
The pleasure's mine.
Help get me started. I appreciate that.
That's no problem, man. I always try. That's how I was raised. I always try to get back. I came from nothing, man. I'm telling you. That's why I told you it irks me earlier. It's you just got to get your foot in the door. You just got to work for it. You got to grind. You got to hit people up, DM people, work on your crafts, grind your game. There's no reason to complain and say you can't make it into some circle or the top, man. There's always a way. I'm a perfect example.
Follow at The Green Release on Twitter for all 2K updates.